Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Football 94. Bob Behler along with the head coach of the Bison, Lou Maranzana, and coach this past week at Lehigh. 31-27 win, and I think the game had everything. It had offense, it had defense, it had good special teams play as well.
It sure was a hell of a game across the board. Game to watch, all kinds of things happen. And for us, it's important game because it's a league game. And our first one, we got it done. It was a close game, and we've been in a bunch of close games, and we're able to come out with a victory. Those things are really important for us, and we're very pleased.
Let's go to the videotape right now. The Bison and Engineers. The Engineers would receive. The Bison would win the toss and defer. And as we look at the videotape, they would take it the length of the field and score on their first possession, Coach, and do it with a lot of good short passing.
Yeah, they have two good drives, important drives during the game. Their first one and their last one, I would say, are the two really outstanding. Here we took the sun rather than the wind, and you can see it was a little tough to field those kicks.
It was a great kick deep in the end zone. Rich Miller would have a good game. Aylesworth would swing passes out to Mastro Piero on this drive. Aylesworth would complete 34 of 53 for 395 on the day.
I tell you, Aylesworth won our respect for being a competitor and a tough person. He got whacked around, and he just continued to step up and work to make plays.
Here he goes to his big tight end, Mark LaFear. A high pass to a 6'6" tight end is hauled in, and Lehigh on the first drive would lead it 7-0. Bucknell couldn't get a first down, I don't believe, on the first drive, but Rich Miller would do a good job, averaging nearly 50 yards on his punts.
Throughout the day, he was able to do a good job. He kind of kept the ball away from Brian Klingerman, who's, we think, an outstanding return guy, and you can see him moving with the ball there.
One of the keys to the game was the sacks, 8 sacks by your front seven.
They just worked so hard, Bob, that whole group throughout the game, and they were able to really come up with a bunch of big plays.
Bison will get on track with some big plays of their own. Rob Gluss to Steve Noteboom for 55 yards here down to the Lehigh 4.
Rob makes a good decision here on a call, on a package call, and completes the pass. Steve gets it down near to the near the end zone.
And the Bison would carry it in. Bob Horst getting his 3rd touchdown in as many weeks. Good straight-ahead running, good blocking as well.
It's a good picture of what's going on there. It's just blasting it in. They do a good job together.
The next 3 possessions that Lehigh would have, Coach, they'd be 3 and out. Did you guys make any adjustments on their offense with your defense? When
you start any football game, particularly when you're playing a team like Lehigh, it's always, they're feeling you out and you're feeling them out. And, they had a good first drive, and they made some important plays. We didn't really change much of anything.
And here we'll look at some of the defense as the second quarter rolls on now. It's really kind of a quarter of missed opportunities and really some pretty good defense when teams are ready to score.
We have a couple of times they get inside our red zone, and we're able to keep them out and get some turnovers. So big fact. Big
stop there by the linebacker co-captains, Strohecker and Welty, to stop a drive for Lehigh. And Rich Lemon in the first half was bottled up pretty well by Lehigh, too.
They played a real good game along the line of scrimmage. They got some guys up front that really did a real good job.
Looked to me like they were bothered with the run, and that allowed Mark Gentili to slip through for an easy one.
We did get some opportunities with the things they were doing for some, a few quick shots there to change the field position.
We're talking about missed opportunities for both teams here. Mark Gentili just can't quite hold on at the goal line, and it forces you into field goal attempt. And this one, though, Rich Miller not successful.
Yeah, right. It's kind of miss and miss there, both in terms of getting the 7, getting the 3.
Lehigh would not run the ball very well all day, averaging only 27 yards. Andy Welty getting him high, Jeremy Patty getting him low there. And here's a play David Todd knocks down, but could have been 6.
It's another one of those potential scoring moments here.
Mike Phillips, who's closing in on Bob Marks' single-season punt return record, has been a big factor all season long.
Hey, let's just talk about Mike catching everyone. And good high kicks with people down there in his face. Did an outstanding job.
Here we are at the end of the first quarter. Rich Lemon would break his first long run of the day, finished with 110, and it's now 13 in his career, and that ties Brad Myers for Bucknell's record. And good call here for the touchdown. We're going to see it low and high, and it's tough to see why the defense doesn't react well, because you can't even see Troy get the ball.
He's not hiding back there. He's not on his belly, but he does a good job. The defense is moving. Troy makes somebody miss right here, which is an important part of it, and then he's going to get in. There ain't nobody going to stop him. And
it's 14-7 in favor of Bucknell. Lehigh would come back and go long again, and again, you have to be wary of them at any time during the game because they've got a very quick strike offense.
Exactly. I mean, they're able to throw the ball in a lot of areas of the field, and there they made a good adjustment by the receiver and got the ball up the field.
Nice play by Bernard Perry on a 3rd down play, or maybe it was a 2nd down play, and here they're going to throw for the touchdown. and they're going to try at least, and Russ Strohecker would come up with a huge interception.
Actually, a real good play by Russ there, stretching out, seeing the ball, and making the pick in the middle of the field. 3
interceptions for Russ. He leads the Patriot League in that category. Bucknell would punt the ball back and come up with another turnover in the red zone.
Once again here, you'll see we get him bottled up, and John Henry pulls the ball out, and we're able to, you take the ball away from somebody down in that area. It's not just a fumble, it's more than that.
And Jeremy Patty is able to fall on it, so Bucknell has come up with 2 turnovers inside the 5-yard line. And unfortunately, the next play we're going to see, Bucknell is going to give the ball back to Lehigh, but I thought it was a great play by DeAndre Dina, the lineman, to somehow hold on the ball.
This one's called an interception, but it really should have another turn. That guy just kind of tipped it up and swallowed it up all at the same time.
So Lehigh would get a very easy touchdown here, but they'd have to work for it. And on 3rd down and 4, Aylesworth would scramble and hit Klingerman in the corner. And we're going to be even at the half, 14-all. And, Coach, I think it was a game that probably could have been 28-28 at the half just as easily.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. We had some opportunities. They had some opportunities. We got 2 teams that are really kind of letting it all fly. And there was no doubt in our minds at halftime that this was a football game that we're going to have to come out and play a great second half to win.
But that, I'm sure, is what you expected prior to the start of the first half as well.
We certainly didn't expect anything different. And, the levelness in this league is just, it's very clear. And they got some players, and they came to play. And I'm just happy with the way our guys responded, particularly coming back out at the beginning of the second half and being able to make some points right away.
We'll take a look at highlights of the second half a little later in the show. It looks to me that years that end in 4 have been great ones for Bucknell. 94 looks like it's going to be that way. 1964, Bucknell won the Lambert Cup for the last time. 1934 was a pretty special year. Mark Braver takes a look.
When you think of the Orange Bowl, generally you think of huge crowds and Division I-A teams on New Year's Day. But back in 1935, in the very first Orange Bowl, it was the Bucknell Bisons versus the Miami Hurricanes. On January 3rd, 1935, the Lewisburg Saturday News wrote this: "Upholding the honor of the North, the Bucknell Bisons overwhelmed the University of Miami Gritters 26-0 in the football classic staged in the Florida City on New Year's Day. While Temple was losing to Tulane at New Orleans, the thundering herd had things their own way among the palms of America's only tropical college. Slow in starting, there was no stopping the Bisons after the team began to click. The Bucknell back ripped off huge gains, and passes fell into the arms of waiting receivers. The herd scored more points against Miami than the Bisons registered against any opponent this year. The Bucknell forward wall, one of the best in the country, held the Southerners at bay throughout the contest." During homecoming this year, we caught up with Joseph Grubright, a halfback on the 1935 Orange Bowl team. Was it intimidating going all the way down to Miami to play?
No, I wouldn't say so. It was just another football game to us fellows, anyhow. After 4 years of playing, you didn't mind who you played, especially if you got a bowl game.
Right.
It's really great to come back and see a lot of my old friends, especially today on this day. The few of us that are left from the 34 team, it was a joy to see them.
And it was a joy for us to see so many Bucknell alumni here at homecoming, especially those who helped bring home a victory in the very first Orange Bowl in 1935. For Bucknell Football 94, I'm Mark Braver.
Thanks a lot, Mark. And Coach Bucknell obviously has a very rich tradition, and no matter how many more years the Orange Bowl gets played, whether it's at the Orange Bowl or it's going to be moved to Joe Robbie in a few years, Bucknell still will have played and won the first Orange Bowl over Miami of Florida.
Right, and you get to talk to any of those guys and just kind of see the way they feel about those things. That spirit kind of lives on, and I know our guys are aware of it, and it's really it's an important thing.
As we get ready to look at second half highlights, the Bison have done very well as we go to the highlights in the third quarter. Is that a sign of a good team being able to come out and get things going in the third quarter?
I hope it is. You know, I really don't have a great explanation for you other than that we really have come out and played well. We've been fortunate to have the ball most of the time, too.
And it's Rob Gluss going back to pass here. We'll see him on a couple of passes. He was 10 of 17 for 197, and he has been a very, very good quarterback for you this season.
Rob's doing a good job. He's executing. He's you know, he's being smart and not doing bad things, and that's very important.
Mark Gentili with a catch there. He had a pretty good afternoon with a couple of long catches. And here I feel sorry for whoever this cornerback is from Lehigh, because he's totally outmanned by Brian Gay on this fourth down call.
Yeah, it's a little screen pass out here, and Rich does a good job of just waiting and setting him up, and Brian just swallows him up.
We talk about the offense doing a good job in the third quarter. The defense has done a great job as well. We're going to see a complete series, 1-4, and I think you got a sack in just about every play. You force them to take a loss here, scrambling, and then the defensive line just really tees off here.
Really working hard. The kind of the spirit those guys came out of the locker room with was really great, and felt like we really had them under control, but they won't last forever. They'll break back out.
Ed Berman, who you saw get the sack a moment ago, now has 8 on the season. 11 is the Bucknell record with 4 games. If he continues at the pace, he should be able to come up with it. Rich Miller, again, is going to come up with another nice punt. Didn't really get a lot of long hang time, but was able to get him down the field.
He was able to kick it away from him where he wasn't able to catch it, and I think that was a big part. This punt was probably not the best one of the day here.
Andy Welty will come up with a couple of big plays in a row. He's going to hit Brian Klingerman very hard right here and then come up with an interception again inside the red zone.
Yeah. Good play there. We give Klingerman credit for bouncing up. And Andy here makes a very, very key interception. Castiglia is pressuring the quarterback, and Andy does what I wasn't sure that he could do, hanging on the sideline there, keeping his foot in bounds.
And he comes up with a turnover, and then after exchange of punts, Rob Gluss is going to get hurt on this play. We'll follow the play to its conclusion, and then we'll take a look at the ground level, and Travis Kopp comes in and nearly gets you a quick strike touchdown.
Yeah, we have a big opportunity in the next one. Travis, this is the one where Rob gets hurt, right? Yeah. And but in the next play here for Travis, okay, get a shot up the middle, and he lets a good ball go. It's just a little bit too much.
That's got to be difficult coming off the bench cold like that and trying to hit anybody.
I think he overthrew it a little bit just because I thought he wasn't quite loose yet.
I think this may have been Miller's best punt of the game. 50 yards, and it's going to get down at the 8.
And it's going to be followed by us keeping him down there, them punting it out, us getting a 20-yard return and getting the ball and being able to score.
Russ Strohecker looks like a second baseman, taking out a second baseman with a huge sack here, and then you bottle him up, force him to punt from the end zone, and once again, a good punt return by Mike Phillips, and you're in business for a possible score. Exactly.
Right away, and we're going to score in a couple of plays right thereafter. But your chances of scoring, you can take the ball down here, we call plus 35. Big difference.
Talk about Craig Svensson throwing the football. He's made 2 passes in the last 2 years. Both have been on the money. He looks like he disguises it very well.
Craig is really an outstanding athlete, and he can do a lot of different things, and that's a great throw.
And Mike Phillips did a nice job catching it in stride, taking it in 28-14. Think the game is suddenly on the good side of the margin right here? You feeling pretty good at this stage?
I mean, we got things rolling. We've scored some. We have the defense has been playing well, and you know, I give them credit that they're not done. You know, they're going to come back and they're going to try and make some things happen here before the football game is over.
And we'll look at them make some things happen. Aylesworth again would throw for nearly 400 yards, but even the drives they scored, you made them work at it here. Pat Feely comes up with a sack, and on this touchdown drive, it would take nearly 5 minutes off the clock for them to get down there.
Yeah, it's a possession type drive, a little piece at a time.
And a little help from some yellow hankies right here is pass interference call number 1, and both of them a little bit questionable.
You know, you don't agree with the ones that go against you, but the big fact, 30 yards of the drive were on pass interference. This one I thought was definitely not interference. John makes a good play, hand on the ball, no question in my mind.
We'll take a look at it again here from the ground level. And then they'll get to the 1-yard line, and on 3rd and goal, you'll come up with a big stop on the run. Good penetration, and was the fumble live?
No, it came out just as he hit the ground. The ground can't cause a fumble.
And then they go for the pass on 4th down, and that brings them back within 7, 28-21. Still half of the 4th quarter remaining. And this may have been the most important drive of the year. It was the longest drive, over 5 minutes, and ate up a lot of clock and also resulted in some points.
We've talked about this in different games in terms of what you got to do to win, and along the way you got to be able to drive and make first downs and have this kind of an effort, and see a couple of great blocks there out in front of Rich's run by McHugh and by Troy White.
Horst almost stopped by his own man Donkers, but bounces off of him, gets 9 going to the outside. We'll see another run here from Bob Horst. The offensive line doing a great job on this drive.
Bob giving us a little change of pace here, running the tailback some and running real hard and real physically.
And this play really almost bogged down the drive, a muff pitch out. And Lehigh would have a break because this is a goal situation. You try a pass here and then come up with a long field goal.
Yeah, we're just trying to get the ball down a little closer, have a chance there, don't really do it. But Rich felt he could make the kick, and obviously just drills it. Great job.
Would have been good from 50 yards out. That gives Bucknell a 10-point lead. Thought you guys might get a celebration penalty there. Everybody on the field.
We really weren't right there. We needed to get our butts off quicker.
And Lehigh, of course, would come back and try to score at the end. Again, it would take them a long time. They would finally score with 19 seconds to go. And again, this is a game in which both teams scrapping until the end, and your defense nearly come up with a turnover right here.
We have an opportunity just to snuff it out right there, and then we're going to have a little miscommunication between a couple of guys, and the wide guy is able to get some leverage on our corner and to make a good throw.
They go for 2 to try to come within 2 points. The coverage is good. The rush is good as well.
This is exactly the play they scored on earlier against Charlie, and they made a great throw before, and now Charlie, he wins the battle.
And the onside kick, good decision by your front wall to let it go because it didn't go 10 yards.
Exactly, and good play, and ends the game.
Big win for Bucknell. They're now 1-0 in the Patriot League, 4-3 overall, 31-27. Ask you a couple questions about a couple players. Gary Petros went out with an injury. Mark Miller didn't play. What's their status going to be?
They're pretty much as they were. Mark is still not back yet. He's working on it. Gary's going to be out. He broke his hand, and we think he's going to be able to return to play. This week is probably questionable. Maybe it's going to be next week.
As we go to break and get ready to talk with our special guests, linebackers Andy Welty and Russ Strohecker, we'll visit with Ed Berman after the ball game. Talk about the pass rush today.
We practiced a lot this week, pass rush, and we knew they were big. We thought we could beat them on the outside. We had a lot of twists called with my nose guards, John Castiglia, Pafili. They were holding the linemen very well so we could get in and just use your speed to get around the corner. I love the game plan, get us going, get linebackers coming, Russ and Andy, get the nose guards, pinching left to right. It was really good.
This is the Bison Weekend Review. I'm John Terry. Bucknell's women's soccer team dropped a 2-1 decision at Navy on Saturday, despite the fact that senior Lisa Gibbons became the Patriot League's all-time leading scorer. Gibbons' goal against Navy gives her 144 career points, surpassing Lafayette's Heidi Caruso as the all-time leader. Gibbons leads Bucknell with 11 goals and 12 assists this season, and she owns every Bucknell scoring record. Bucknell's men's soccer team edged Fairleigh Dickinson 2-1 in overtime on Saturday. Senior Bruce McKenzie scored the game winner in OT. Junior Dan Holton also scored for the Bison, and senior Brian Breslin had 2 assists. The volleyball team has now won 6 of its last 7 matches after non-league wins over St. Francis and Niagara on Saturday. The Bison are 3-2 in the Patriot League with big matches against Fordham and Army this weekend. Bucknell is 16-9 overall, just 1 win shy of last year's win total. For Bucknell Football 94, I'm John Terry.
We're back on Bucknell Football 94, joined by 2 linebacker co-captains, Andy Welty and Russ Strohecker. And Andy, talk a little about the Lehigh game that we just saw. A great game plan by the defense, and you guys really executed it with a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we went into it with a pretty basic attitude to just try to do what we do best and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and the front 4 did a great job of that. We had a couple of our defenses set up where it looks like the linebacker's going to rush. They don't. It sets up the lineman for, be able to have a little more one-on-one type plays than they'd have to go up against double teams. And Berman and Patty and Castiglia, Feely, Eddie Jackson, Bernard, they did a great job.
Was there more intensity for this game? Not that there hasn't been intensity all the year, but with this being the first conference game of the season?
We were pretty excited about playing. We felt like this is another opportunity to get a little respect. We've lost a couple of close ones that could have given us a little that feeling that we want to have as a team, and we think it was another step in the right direction for us.
Russ, it looks like you're a lot more versatile this year. We've seen you rush the passer for sacks. We've seen you get interceptions. You played the run. We've even seen you as a down lineman. It seems like your position is entailing a lot more this season.
Yeah, a little bit. I've always put pressure on the quarterback. When they roll out, I like to come up and get a good lick on the quarterback. But I've been playing down lineman a little bit more. I have some weight on me, so I can handle myself down there with the offensive lineman.
Talk with Andy a little bit about the Lehigh game. Next week coming up is Lafayette, a team that you've always seemed to have pretty good games with, and it's going to be kind of a different team to go against than Lehigh was.
Well, we're excited, because especially for linebackers, running team coming at you, Eric Marsh. We're excited.
How do you go about stopping somebody like him?
You just got to keep hitting them, lay some licks on him, hope he doesn't get up.
Got some plays here to take a look at that we're going to show you and ask the guys to comment on. Andy, we'll start with your plays. I believe the first one coming up we've got is your interception right now, and maybe you can tell us what you're thinking about as this play is going on.
Well, most of the game I'm trying to stay home and stay, not going to get anybody behind me. And Feely and I think it's Feely and Castiglia are chasing him, and I'm right along the sidelines. I didn't think he was going to throw the ball there. I think he couldn't make up his mind. He just threw it, and I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to get an interception, I got to have my feet in bounds. So I just put one down and hope it stayed there.
How about these plays? These are the hitting kind of plays from the linebacker.
Yeah, this is another play where I'm trying to stay home on the backside, and Klingerman's coming underneath, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. This was that was a nest loop where we got the lineman in front of me going out, and my job is just kind of stay inside, and it gives me a little more freedom. There's no one to block me most of the time, which helps, and I was just able to read it, looking for the draw coming back.
How much of making plays is knowing where you should be in the scheme?
A lot of it, especially when we do as many things we do up front. Our linemen are quick and versatile. They're not always the bigger guys, and knowing where they're going a lot makes a big difference in your responsibility as a linebacker. And to be honest, it makes my job a lot easier when they're moving up front. It makes it a lot harder for the offensive lineman. It makes it a lot easier for me.
See what we got now. Russ's plays. Russ, of course, had the big interception, and also with his kick leg save sack. And Russ, let's talk about the sack. Kind of overshot him, but you didn't give up.
Yeah, I was supposed to come up and put pressure on him. Remember when the fullback came out the block, and he pulled up real quick, and I was going to go by him, so I figured I'd stick my leg out, try to get him down.
And what are you doing here on the interception?
We're just in zone here. I'm just trying to read the quarterback's eyes, and usually there's always flow coming across, so I figured he'd try to hit someone in the back of the end zone.
And Andy jumped on you to make sure you wouldn't run it out of the end zone and think about getting a 105-yard return, right?
Well, I have those kind of wheels, so.
This season, you're leading the league in interceptions. Kind of unusual for a middle linebacker, I would think.
It surprises me, too. Just trying to make some good reads and been lucky to get some balls thrown to me.
You really had a good career at Bucknell. You were able to start as a freshman. As you look back at your career, in what ways do you think you've improved the most as you head down the stretch here?
Well, you can always improve from year to year from, getting the blocks off you, reading the offensive lineman. But overall, I guess I've learned to understand the defense better and what we're trying to do with it. So it's made me better.
And Andy, early in the season, you almost didn't think you were going to get a chance to get on the field with some injuries.
Yeah, it's a lot of things to overcome as a football player, and injury is just one more thing, and you just try to keep him down as much as possible.
Russ, as a captain, we mentioned you and Andy are captains. What role do you see yourself as a senior captain this year? What kind of things do you do maybe in the locker room or on the sidelines and different things that come into that part of your role?
I don't think I'm that big of a talker. Andy's better at that, but I like to lead on the field. When we need big plays, you got to step up and make them. Show everyone else that. And
one of your roles, Andy, is calling the heads and tails right, which you've been pretty good at.
Yeah, I'm usually good at speaking. I'm not afraid to, speak my mind, especially in the, those coin tosses. Where I guess Russ didn't have too much luck last year, so he kind of gave me the opportunity to do that. I've gotten lucky a couple of times.
As we finish up the interview, question for you both: what does Bucknell need to do to finish out the season as Patriot League champs? Is there anything that you think that needs to happen or continue to happen? Russ?
Well, like we did this Saturday, we have to come up big, like when they're threatening to score, get some big turnovers, and offense has to continue to move the ball and establish the running game first.
But, Andy, there is a confidence about it for this year's team.
Yeah, there is. I think the thing we have to worry about now is trying not to get a little overconfident. We beat Lehigh. We thought that was going to be the big game, and, now we can't underestimate our opponents. Marsh can run the ball, and, it's not going to be a quick score like he was last week. It's not their big thing, but, you can't let him wear you down. You got to attack him and go get him and not have a letdown after a big win like this.
Well, thanks for joining us. Linebacker captains Andy Welty and Russ Strohecker. Coach Lou will be back. We'll talk about Lafayette coming up next.
Since 1846, scholars have come together at Bucknell to ask questions and explore answers. Inspired by the fresh spirit of the newest students and the seasoned wisdom of the faculty, this meeting of minds fosters achievement. Bucknell professors enjoy national reputations, and Bucknell students are known for their intelligence. Their lively exchanges extend from classrooms and seminars to informal meetings in faculty offices and the campus snack bar. Bucknell is a comfortable place for the tradition of the classics and the demands of today's society. The arts, humanities, and sciences thrive alongside professional programs in engineering, education, management, and music. The environment for this growing diversity and the ongoing meeting of minds is a very beautiful campus in central Pennsylvania. Bucknell's stately buildings and beautiful trees and gardens provide an ideal collegiate setting. Bucknell, with 3,300 undergraduates and over 260 faculty members who sustain the spirit that is this university and who carry it with them throughout their lives.
At Bucknell University, we pride ourselves in doing intercollegiate athletics the right way. We're extraordinarily proud of our student athletes and their record of success in terms of Patriot League scholar athletes, academic All-Americans, and NCAA postgraduate scholarship winners. In addition, our graduation rate of student athletes has been #1 in the country over the past 3 years. The goal of the athletic program at Bucknell University is to provide a competitive Division I experience for over 750 athletes in 26 men's and women's varsity programs. In order for us to enjoy our current level of success, we need your help. You can support our student athletes by joining the Bison Club. I'm certain that the self-satisfaction that you gain from assisting student athletes to have a quality, competitive Division I experience will be well worth your while. On behalf of the student athletes at Bucknell University, thank you.
For more information, write to the Bison Club in care of Bucknell University or call 717-524-1358.
About a minute left in the show, just enough time to look ahead to Lafayette, and this is a group that may be 1-6, but they're 1-0 in the league, and they played some tough games recently, played a pretty tough schedule.
They're a good team. They're preseason favorites for a reason. They've got real good players. They're playing well now. They've come along. They almost shut out Navy a couple of weeks ago. They got a lot going for them. And as Andy said before, you know, there's a lot to overcome in football. Nobody ever says it's going to be easy, so it's from week to week. We've got a job cut out for us.
Glad to be returning home with hopefully a big Parents' Day crowd?
Yeah, we like to play at home, and I think we're comfortable. And but our guys have been, no matter where they go, every game they played hard and gotten excited, so I don't think there's going to be any variation in that at all.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us today. We'll look at the Lafayette game next week.
Thanks, Bob.
For Coach Lou Maranzano, this is Bob Behler. Thanks for watching Bucknell Football 94.